Alexia.
Great, thanks, Melissa. So I just wanted to welcome you all to our webinar today. The focus of this webinar is really on recruiting and hiring apprentices. I know it takes a lot of work to put together and register an apprenticeship program, and so we want to give you some tools that might be helpful so that once you've done all that work, you can actually implement your apprenticeship program. That is one of the things that I do in my role as the apprenticeship program specialist with Workforce Services is make sure that you're connected to those resources that help make both registration and utilization of the apprenticeship program more effective for you. So I'm just going to jump right in. So the first thing that we have available through Workforce Services is just posting your opening on our jobs.utah.gov system. It's actually pretty easy to do. I used to be a little bit afraid of it because I was in the employment counseling world and did not really ever work in these systems. But as I've gotten a little bit more experience the last 4 or 5 years, it really is a pretty simple process to post your opening to our system. And it's free. So it's an option that you have that's not going to cost you money. So when you go to our website, again, that's jobs.utah.gov, you can click on the employer section and it's going to bring you to this page that I am not even sharing my PowerPoint. It's not going to take you to this page that's displayed on my screen because it's not. Hold tight. Let's see. Does that look a little bit better? It should be Monday, but it's Wednesday. Anyways, okay, so when you go to jobs.utah.gov and you click on employers, it will bring you to this page. And you can see that right prominent there is post a job. When you click on that, it's going to prompt you to either log in if you already have an account or to create an account if you're kind of first time using our system. If you have not posted on our system before, you will need your your unemployment identification number and your FEIN. Anytime you need assistance with that, you're welcome to connect to me and I can help you with that. And then when you log in, it'll prompt you to update your contact information if that needs to be done and accept the terms of the agreement. But once you've done that, you're ready to post and recruit your apprentices. So when you log in, you're going to have this template. It's just a form, and all you do is complete each section of that. If you get stuck at any point, we have, you can see on the screen, there's an arrow that points to the live chat feature. So that will connect you with our state employment team, who can help you if you get stuck with your job posting along the way. They're kind of our experts with this process. One of the things I did want to make sure that you were aware of is the section where it is going to ask you if this is an apprenticeship that includes classroom training. You are going to want to say yes to that if this is an apprenticeship program. And then there's a section that says select the apprenticeship school that provides the classroom training. When you click on that drop-down menu, it's going to bring a list up. And what that list is it's our apprenticeship training provider list. So if your program had been on that list, it will be there and you will select that. If not, if you're not on that list, you would select other, and then it will have you free format enter the education provider that's associated with your apprenticeship program. Once you've completed the remaining fields, you'll click continue and your opening will post to our system. So now when individuals are looking for an apprenticeship, they can actually select a button on their side that says apprenticeship, and your opening will pull up there. But if you were on that training provider or that apprenticeship training provider list, then there's an additional place where that opening will be displayed. So this is something that this apprenticeship training provider list is something that I generally reach out to new programs and encourage them to elect to become on this list. It is a great place to just direct apprentices that are looking for opportunities. One of the things that we hear from people who are interested in becoming an apprentice or people who are trying to help connect them to those opportunities is it's really hard to know where to find them and kind of how to go about that. So this is one place where we can say, hey, go here. There's a list of programs that are that have elected to be on this list, and it's got all the contact information and you can reach out to them. But even better, if you are posting your opening on our system and you said yes to that apprenticeship question, it will display right on this list as well. So now if I'm looking for an opportunity, I know, hey, this place has a program. And not only that, I know for sure that they're recruiting for an apprentice. So you can see on the screen there, in this example, JD Machine has an open job for a CNC machinist apprentice. And so if you were as a job seeker to click on that, then it's going to have you log into your job seeker account and you can go ahead and see the referral instructions. So that is definitely a plus for individuals trying to make a connection to your program. So I really would encourage you as apprenticeship sponsors to get on this list if it's something that you're interested in. If you are an employer that maybe you participate in somebody else's program, so for example, you're a member of an association, maybe you participate in Associated General Contractors Apprenticeship Program, you would select, back on that yes, you would select Associated General Contractors. And then when you go to this list, the training provider list, under Associated General Contractors, you would be able to click on your opening there, and then it would pull up. So it is a great recruitment tool and just another place for people to find your openings. Any questions on the eligible training provider list or posting your jobs before I move on? Okay. The other great resource we have available through Workforce Services is our Workforce Development Specialists. The great thing about them is they are located all across the state, and they're a great resource, particularly locally, because they tend to have a very good feel for what's going on in the local economies. They can help with on-site recruitments. They can assist with getting you connected to job fairs, and also building local partnerships. This can be especially helpful if you maybe have a tech college in your area that has a related classroom training to your apprenticeship. If you're not already connected with them, that Workforce Development Specialist can help you make that connection. And that could be a great source of finding individuals that are looking for apprenticeship sponsors. A lot of times, with those programs through the colleges, they can start, but they are expected to find a sponsor at some point during their program. And so they're oftentimes looking for those opportunities. And that's a great connection for you as an employer and a sponsor. So if you were to want to connect to a workforce development specialist, again, this is that employer page that I showed you earlier. Down towards the bottom, under recruitment support, your first option is workforce development specialists. When you click on that, there'll be an option to contact a workforce development specialist. And then it brings up this kind of brochure thing. But don't worry, you're at the right place. When you scroll down, you'll get to the last page and it's going to give you a map, which is really nice. So you can find for your area of the state who the workforce development specialist is that's attached to that program and their contact information. So that's definitely a resource that you would want to connect to. The other great thing about working with workforce development specialists is they're working closely with employment counselors who are working with individuals that want these opportunities. So they can also reach out to those folks and say, hey, I know you were mentioning that you had somebody that was interested in this type of work. I just met with this employer and they've got an apprenticeship going in whatever, program. So it's definitely a good resource that as an employer you would want to be connected with. You also want to consider developing a pipeline, and you can do that through pre-apprenticeship and youth apprenticeship programs. Pre-apprenticeships, we do have formal definition in Utah statute for both of these, but generally with pre-apprenticeship, it's a program that's going to be designed to help individuals enter and succeed in an apprenticeship program that has registered standards. Youth apprenticeship is really fairly similar, except for that you are already starting with some of that work experience, and it would also involve some academic training in addition to the classroom specific training that's related to the apprenticeship program. So, and those typically are starting in either the junior or senior year of high school. Really, the intent for both of these programs is preparation and success. So these are opportunities for young people to learn about careers and really kind of get a head start so that when they finish high school, they're already on a career track. There is a lot of effort being put into both pre-apprenticeship and youth apprenticeship in the state. And if you're wanting to really know more about that or how you might connect, tomorrow we have a webinar. It's at 3 o'clock because it is going to involve our secondary school people, but it's Jump into Youth Apprenticeship. It'll be at 3 o'clock. So that is something I would encourage you to connect to if you're wanting to know more about getting involved with individuals that are in high school in terms of potential recruitment. So I know there's been a lot of talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dawn, it was out on a flyer. Sorry, I just saw a chat pop up. So Dawn was asking if there's, and Marty, okay. So if there's a link for it, Melissa, do you think maybe you could just add the link into the chat for us so that, beautiful, Melissa's on it. Thanks, you guys. Really the importance of a diverse workplace is it's going to help you access all available talent. Right now, our unemployment rate in Utah is really low, and I'm constantly hearing employers say that they're struggling to find the talent that they need. So apprenticeship really is beautiful for that because it's going to allow you to tap into different talent. It removes the kind of education and financial barriers that can limit opportunities for some of the individuals that are parts of underrepresented, that are underrepresented in our workforce. So the great thing is when everybody has the opportunity to become an apprentice, now you've got access to a full candidate of people who can fill your openings because you are going to be the one that's going to train them and make sure that they have the exact skill set that you need as an employer. So I did want to share a video with you that just talks about individuals' kind of experience in apprenticeships and in the workforce that might be just kind of give you a different perspective. So I'm going to try to share that. And if somebody can just let me know if all does not go as I expect.
To get ahead in today's economy, America's workers need skills and the opportunity to gain them. Now, more and more are discovering a proven path to career success: apprenticeship. Apprenticeships offer the opportunity to earn a salary while learning the skills necessary to succeed in high-demand careers. And today, they exist in not only traditional trades, such as construction, but also high-growth industries, such as healthcare and information technology, among others. Apprenticeships also may offer the opportunity to earn college credit, even an associate's or bachelor's degree, in many cases paid for by your employer. Put simply, apprenticeship works.
Well, I came out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
I was a typical high school student, didn't really know what to do with my life.
So I looked into joining the Coast Guard Reserves, did that.
I like to play video games, I like to work on bikes.
I built my own computer.
Pretty much anything hands-on.
I built my sister's computer.
I worked as a dental assistant for 12 years on the installation base of Fort Benning, Georgia with the Army.
And I was working at Sam's Club during their peak holiday season.
I knew that I couldn't do that for another 12 years.
Just came out of high school, just overwhelmed by the real world.
So I really wasn't looking at the idea of an apprenticeship. I went through an organization that helped people with disabilities find jobs. I was just looking for a job, just to kind of make ends meet, a way to gain my independence, get back into the community.
My dad was telling me about the apprentice school. He knew a couple guys who worked at the shipyard, was familiar with the apprentice school. So I applied.
The application process to get into the apprenticeship was basically testing your skills on how to follow instruction, take a computer apart, and then if you pass, you're into the apprenticeship and you get to move forward.
I reached out to one of my instructors and he gave me the information. He told me to call Cheyenne. She said, "Okay, Latasha, you've been accepted and, here you go." I was so happy.
I'm a full-time employee here at Newport News Shipbuilding, and now I'm in their bachelor's degree program. I have full benefits. I never had to pay for a book.
I'm graduated apprentice and I work for a hospital in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
I started out on their IT help desk. I guess I did a great job that I got employed by the Philadelphia School District.
For me, there really isn't a typical work day.
There really isn't a typical day for me.
Typical day.
Typical day at work for me,
I do work from home. I have my own home office.
it can vary.
Unlocking the computer lab,
Firing up my computer,
Shadow or help another engineer,
get things ready,
Log into all of my systems.
check my emails,
go down to the test lab.
cable updates.
to make sure everything's working,
Answer phone calls.
clean things up, make sure everyone had a good technology experience for the day.
Yeah, I do. I bring my lunch to work.
If everything runs smoothly, my day is easy. With somebody with a disability that goes into a job interview, there are definitely things on your mind that might not be on the mind of somebody without a disability. Are they looking at my wheelchair? Are they looking beyond my abilities and looking at my disability?
My disability is hard of hearing. Sometimes I can't always hear the person. But in the past, I've asked for sign language interpreters, note takers.
What I've been doing my whole time with the school district is kind of proving myself more than somebody without a disability.
There's wonderful challenges that you have to go up against and just prove yourself.
You definitely want to show what you can do.
I would say to those that are considering apprenticeship,
If you're considering an apprenticeship, I would definitely
Definitely.
go for it.
take it because it's going to be well worth it.
Apprenticeships are awesome.
You have to be persistent. Do you guys offer apprenticeship? Do you know anybody that may? Do you think you may want to start one? Can you help me? Can you help me?
The apprenticeship program gave me the tools to be successful.
You can get paid to go to school and learn a craft or a skill. It's something that you've earned. It's something that will always be with you.
Apprenticeship works for workers.
Apprenticeship works for business.
Apprenticeships work for innovation.
Apprenticeship works for inclusion.
Apprenticeship works for me.
For me.
For me.
Apprenticeship works. For more information, contact dol.gov/apprenticeship.
So I think what I like about that video is even though it's from the perspective of an apprentice, I think it really shows the excitement from these particular group of apprentices that they interviewed. And you can really see the value that they're adding for their employers. And so I just really want to have kind of a conversation around some of the things that you should consider when you're looking at diversity within your workforce, and then kind of share some expertise of my coworkers with you as well. Okay, so as employers are looking for solutions to their workforce needs, as you could see from that video, that apprenticeship really is a proven model that's going to help provide a pipeline of skilled employees and help businesses develop new and high quality talent pools that are going to include women, people of color, individuals with disability, just to name a few. But to do that, it does require some intentional work. And as I've listened to businesses talk and have been involved in webinars over the last year or so, these kind of 3 strategies have really stood out to me as something that is beneficial for companies. The first is setting goals and evaluating outcomes. So that requires that you look at your current workforce and look at the diversity that's represented in that, and then decide what you want that to look like in the future. And then not just set those goals, but regularly check in and evaluate how you're doing. The other thing that's beneficial in this process is to really think not just about your recruitment strategies, but even beyond that, and create some internal metrics on that measure growth and advancement and retention of workers from different populations, so you really know how you're doing as an employer. The second thing that is helpful is a sustained outreach. And that's ensuring that you have equitable recruitment and training practices. So evaluating your current workforce, that, like we talked about before, is going to help you see how you're doing as you implement different strategies. Apprenticeship, again, it's just a valuable tool in this because it's allowing you to recruit individuals that you may not recruit through your typical hiring practices. It's going to allow you to recruit based on somebody's potential rather than their education level or past work experience. So it's important to consider changing your strategies. We get a lot of employers that will mention to us, I can't find the talent that I need, but aren't always open to considering other alternatives. And if you're not finding what you need currently in your practices, it's good to reevaluate those and find other opportunities, such as partnering with local organizations like nonprofits, with your workforce boards, and other community-based organizations that are engaging with some of these targeted populations that you might not otherwise be connecting to. You want to be purposeful about representing diversity in both your recruitment materials and in your and on your website, so that diverse candidates can see that they belong in your company. And then lastly, prepare your work culture for a diverse workforce. This will allow you to really expand ideas and strategies as you start to gain a new perspective based on the new talent that you have available to you. Make sure you're sharing the value of this, of the diversity, with your whole entire workforce, so that individuals understand that this is a benefit to have diversity in the workplace. Provide visible and intentional support for those populations that you're looking to increase. Maybe that can be maintaining the mentoring aspect of your apprenticeship program post-apprenticeship, so that individuals really feel supported within your workforce. And really, it's just allowing someone to see themselves and where they fit within your company. So as I mentioned before, I just wanted to share opportunities that are available to you to expand your outreach and resources. And resources that we have available through Workforce Services to help you in this process. So I do have a team of coworkers that represent various divisions within Workforce Services, all of which are considered to be, or all of which work with individuals that are underrepresented in the workforce. So they're experts in their programs and how to really best connect to individuals. So first we'll start with Josh Rodeback, who's from the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation. And then we will, after that, Agnes Lomu, who's from our Refugee Services Division, will share some information. And then finally, Lisa Duckworth, who is from our Veteran Services team. So I just asked them to share their thoughts with you on recruiting and the supports that each of their divisions can offer you as an employer. So make sure, again, type questions in the chat, make sure that you're getting what you need out of the expertise that these individuals have. And I am just going to move forward to Josh.
Thank you, Alexia. It's great to be here with everybody. I don't always consider myself an expert because I feel like I'm always learning. So thanks for the compliment there. I appreciate that. So again, my name's Josh Rodeback. I'm with the Utah State Office of Rehabilitation, which is under the Department of Workforce Services. And our goal is to work with individuals with disabilities to help them gain and maintain employment, reaching their vocational goals, excuse me. Next slide. So this is our team. I'm the newest of the team. So there's Leah, Jake, and myself. You've probably or may have heard from or of Leah and Jake in the past, but we all work together. And our goal and our job as business relations specialists is to work with business partners, employers, to help train them on how to gain and retain individuals with disabilities within the workforce. Next slide. So the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, their definition of disability is a mental or physical condition that substantially limits one or more of life's major functions. So this can really impact somebody's ability to accomplish or complete some tasks. And those can vary depending on the disability. And sometimes, you know, the accommodations that we look at can help sustain or help increase that person's ability to complete jobs. Next. So these are some of the major life activities that are considered: walking, working, speaking, breathing, self-care, hearing, learning, writing. So they're in a lot of different areas. And again, this will be based on the individual's disability. Next slide. So some of the statistics for disability. So now understand that these are the statistics we have based on information and based on people that are willing to disclose that they have a disability. So these numbers could increase, decrease, depending on who is willing and able to let us know that they have a disability. So 64 million Americans with disabilities, 50% are deaf or hard of hearing, 25% have mental disabilities, 2% are wheelchair users, which is interesting because, you know, the symbol that we use for disability is a person in a wheelchair, right? But only 2% are wheelchair users. Our aging population, 30% of families will have, you know, a member or know of somebody that has a disability. Next slide. So disability etiquette in the workplace. One of the great tools that we have is the Rocky Mountain ADA Center here in Utah. We do have a unit, and Leah and Jake are both on the committee with the ADA, so great resources. They do have a website that you can check out to verify or look into what are requirements and other information on disability. Next slide. Importance of etiquette. I mean, it makes good business sense. We want to make sure that those who work for us are involved, and we want to involve everybody. When we bring in, as Alexia said, diverse populations, we learn new things, we gain new perspectives, we are able to use the skills and knowledge and experiences that other people have to increase what we do in our business. We change the culture, we increase that opportunity to involve more and more people. It's a basic human courtesy. We're not asking that, you know, let's hire somebody with a disability because it feels good. No, it makes good business sense. And those that have the skills and abilities to do the jobs that we are looking for, they may be a person with a disability, and considering those people is going to be the best opportunity at times that we can look at for our culture and for our business needs. Employees are going to be more productive, and there's a huge source of clients, customers, and employees that are out there that have a disability. Next slide. So the basics. When we're looking or discussing and thinking about hiring and working with people with disabilities, we want to look at the person first. The video put it great when the individual stated, you know, I'm worried about when I go into an employer that they are going to look past me and look right at my wheelchair. That's not what we want to do. We want to look at the individual. Person first language is what we use here. And what that means is talking to the person or recognizing the person first, and understanding that a disability is something that they have and not something that they are. So somebody has a disability, and what that disability is may depend on some of the functions that they do differently than most of us. Don't make assumptions about needs, abilities, or limitations. There are varying levels. You know, a lot of the talk has always been, or recently has been, on the autism spectrum. And the key word there is spectrum. It can vary from what some people consider high functioning to what others consider low functioning. It is a broad spectrum. So people on that spectrum, their abilities and limitations are going to be very different. I may know 10 or 2 different people with autism, but their abilities are going to be very different from each other. And always considering that. Creating an environment that permits people with hidden disabilities to disclose if necessary. This is one of those areas that's key right now. And why is that? Is because we're trying to open ourselves up to diversity and to disability. But the problem or the difficulty that we run into is people don't want to disclose. Why? Because of the stigma. They're afraid that if they disclose, they may lose their job. People will treat them differently. We don't want that. We want to be able to meet a person's needs so that they are successful in our workplace. And then accommodation requests for an interpreter, job coach, or advocate. Being open to these opportunities. Why? Because it's going to be more productive for both you as the employer and the employees. Next slide. Accommodations, this is another key topic. 5 words: common sense, good faith effort. Not everybody's going to get this perfectly, and not everybody's going to know what they need or want in order to make them successful in their workplace or work setting. And it may take several different tries. But that's okay, because everybody's learning. And there are resources out there to help you with this, and our team is one of those resources. The Job Accommodation Network, or jan.org, is another place where you can look at accommodation ideas and resources. Next slide. Employment, all about equality. ADA is not affirmative action. And what we're really trying to do is recruit, hire, promote, and fire the most deserving person. You treat an individual with a disability the same way you would treat anybody else on your workforce. We want to make sure that we've got the most capable people on the team doing the job that we need to do. Next slide. Essential functions. So again, this goes in line with the accommodations, making sure that the individual can do and perform the primary job duties. Okay, do not include marginal or peripheral functions that are incidental to the performance of primary job duties. So what we want to do and what we focus on is making sure that the individual with a disability can complete and perform the primary job duties with or without reasonable accommodations. We're not saying that with primary job duties you can change this or that. I mean, it's going to be an accommodation based on the person's needs. And so taking that into consideration, again, we want to make sure that the person that is being hired, whether they have a disability or not, that they're able to perform those primary job duties. Next slide. Reasonable accommodations, again, there's the Job Accommodation Network, but there are a lot of questions and concerns and fears out there about accommodations. Now, the reason that is one, most employers have never had to provide an accommodation and are afraid that it's going to cost a lot of money. Most, as it states here, most 50% cost $50 or less, and there's a lot of the accommodations that are even free. You know, why is that? It's because of what a person may need is not some large technical device. It's just maybe it's a change in their workplace setup, moving monitors, moving computers and stuff like that, lowering desks, you know, adjusting break times because of an individual's needs. A lot of those things aren't going to cost money. It can boost the worker's productivity, and it can also benefit the employer. I mean, if we think about it, right, a lot of us, when using our smartphones, how many of us text? How many of us are chatting on our phones, not while using our voices, but using some form of text, pictures, whatever it may be, right? This, to us, is commonplace now, but in the past, it was created as an accommodation, right? When cell phones came out, one of the ideas or one of the thoughts were, well, we're going to lose a large population that either can't speak or can't hear. The deaf and hard of hearing, those that can't speak, that are mute or something like that, can't use a phone. So what's the next best thing? Texting, right? And now what do? Most of us prefer texting over speaking on the phone. So a lot of these things that we look at as, oh, this could create issues or it could create problems, may actually not, and may be a benefit for more than just that individual employee. Next slide. So how to participate? There are a lot of different ways. So let's go to the next slide here. So every year we hold the Golden Key Awards. And the Golden Key Awards, I mean, it's a presentation. Essentially, we want to focus on businesses, employers, and individuals who have made an impact for people with disabilities. You know, recognizing outstanding contributions that promote the employment opportunities for people with disabilities. We award those who have gone above and beyond to either hire and retain an individual or multiple people with disabilities. We want to recognize this because this is something that is new to a lot of employers, and we want them to know that, hey, what you're doing is great. Please keep doing this, and we're always here to support you in those efforts. So the Golden Key Awards are held every year in October, and that is part of the Governor's Committee on Employment of People with Disabilities. So that's one of the events that we hold every year. Next slide. Disability in Utah. So it's affiliate of the United States Business Disability in. That's a national program that focuses on inclusion of people with disabilities in the workforce. We do have a Utah chapter, and Leah, my partner Leah, is on that committee as well, and she's does a lot there. They do business-to-business mentoring model. So really what we're trying to do is get more businesses involved with that, so that businesses that have worked and hired and retained individuals with disabilities can then be mentors to those who are new to the area, trying to get their feet wet, trying to understand, how do we do this? This is a great way to get involved and to get support, not only from us and our team, but from other businesses that have done this or have been doing this. Next slide. We here at the Office of Rehabilitation have our activities per se. So we have an employer workshop that's held twice a year. We have it in the spring in March, and then in the fall in September. And that's where we train and partner with a lot of Utah businesses statewide. And we train specifically on how to hire and retain individuals with disabilities. We have a lot of different presenters, from deaf of hard of hearing, the Division for Blind and Visually Impaired. We have our Utah Center for Assistive Technology that provides a lot of the technical aspect for individuals that need that sort of support. And then we also talk about the process of hiring, retaining individuals with disabilities, accommodations, and all of that sort of stuff. And then what follows the following month, so in April and October, we have our career preparation and job fairs. So those employers that were at the workshops and other employers can join our career preparation and job fair to recruit and individuals with disabilities and promote their businesses to our population. This is great because the job fair that we hold encompasses a lot of different people, especially people with disabilities. But what rehabilitation does for the state of Utah is we start working with students as young as 14. And the reason we say career preparation and job fair is because this is an opportunity for those that are looking at the workforce, or those that are still in school, to explore and understand what's available to them and how they can pursue that. And then the job fair part is you are able to recruit people as well. Next slide. So other resources, we talked about the Job Accommodation Network. One of the other things that we do is we also, those that partner with us that we work with, we have our email listserv where we send out job opportunities to our network, so our People with Disabilities Network, and that will focus and send all of those job leads out to our network so that you are looking at and recruiting individuals with disabilities. Next slide. So social media links, we do post a lot of information on social media. So we've got the Disability in Utah, the Governor's Committee on Employment of People with Disabilities, and the Utah State. So there's all Facebook, Twitter, and our websites. Next slide. Any questions? I went through that pretty quick, but just know that you can reach out to me or my team, and we can set up something where we can meet and discuss how to help you and your company, your business move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate you sharing that information. I am gonna plug your employer workshop, because I do think that's like one of the most amazing resources that your team offers for employers. And so if anyone on the call is interested in getting involved with that, I would highly encourage it, and it is really worth your time. So I'm going to move on to Agnes. Agnes is with our Refugee Services Division. And Agnes, if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself and share the information from your division, I would appreciate it.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Agnes Lomu, and I am with the Refugee Services Office. And I've been working with the division since it was created about 6 years ago. And imagine that you are parents of 5 children. You woke up at 3 a.m. and you hear bombs and people screaming. And you have 2 minutes to decide what to take, who, and where to go. This is one of the experiences refugees actually go through. And you may be wondering, who are refugees? Well, a refugee is someone who is forced to flee from his or her country and cannot return because of a well-founded fear of persecution, and it's based on religion, race, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. Here in Utah, we have, since we started the refugees after the Vietnam War, we've had about 65,000 coming here to Utah. And the whole goal of the Refugee Center serves 2 purposes. So first is to foster opportunities for these refugees, access to family-sustaining employment. So employment is very critical. Second is to support refugee communities' efforts to find appropriate solutions towards integration. I do receive a lot of questions about whether or not refugees are eligible to work here in the country. They are. So when refugees arrive on the first day here, when they land here at the airport, they are legally authorized to work the day that they arrive. They require no work visas. They can get permanent residence after 1 year, and they are eligible for citizenship after 5 years. And when Alexia asked me to present, I said, what a better way, since our whole main goal is employment and helping our refugees find employment. But I would like to provide a few reasons why there's benefits of hiring or having refugees participate in the apprenticeship program. It does affect your bottom line. And these are the reasons why. So first, we have a lot of tax credit within the Department of Workforce Services, but also most of these refugees are eligible for on-the-job training, where we pay up to 50% of their of wages, up to a negotiated time that's up to 6 months, but also employment internship opportunities. So all of these tax credits, hiring a refugee does affect your bottom line. But also innovative and diverse workforce for your own company. Your business can directly benefit from ethnic and cultural diversity. One of the researches a year ago by McKinsey and Company found that teams that are more culturally and ethnically diverse are 33% more likely to be more profitable than a less diverse competitor. So refugees are not just a homogeneous group. I mean, they come from a wide range of backgrounds, culture, and skills. So when you're drawing from this wide range of candidates from all over the world, whether they're from Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Congo, South Sudan, it can greatly help diversify thinking and your skill sets within your business, but also lead to a vastly improved innovation and growth. Third is you have access to skilled and qualified candidates. Again, refugees, we have a range from people that come in that have very little English to people that have a lot of English, very skilled. So refugees have a highly skilled and also very experienced as well. As one of the companies that did a research, Deloitte, found that 38% of refugees that are surveyed had a university education. So again, refugees have a wide range of talents and professional skills, and this is due to their experiences that they often developed enormously, which a lot of, I would say, a lot of candidates don't have, which is resilience and adaptability. Majority of our staff at the Refugee Services Office have gone through years living in refugee camps. We have folks that have been teammates that have been part of the South Sudan boys, lost boys that have walked from one country to another. So you can see some of those skills that probably that most employers are not looking at, but they have the resilience and adaptability that probably most candidates don't have because they have gone through hardships and have gone through life of war. And so refugees are likely to be proficient in those cases, but also the number of languages that they speak. Majority speak more than 2 languages. Some speaks 5, 7 languages, again, which can also be another asset to your business growing into international markets. Fourth, it also can increase employee communication and empathy, encouraging employees to interact with refugees from different cultural and ethnic backgrounds. They're able to develop the soft skills such as communication and just empathy and teamwork. And also creating opportunities for your employees to work alongside a diverse workforce. And so this will help develop new skills and ideas. So it helps with that unconscious bias as well. Fifth, a lot of these refugees have a high job retention rate. Again, in 2020, 73% of employers surveyed here in the United States found that refugees have a higher retention rate than other employees. So hiring refugees will allow you to keep this great new talent for longer, which significantly reduces recruitment and training costs and encourages business continuity. And so, so those are some of the things that I see as I work with refugees and businesses that hire refugees that is important and critical to their bottom line. Not only that, but you have the Refugee Services Office. So why would you want refugees to participate in apprenticeship program? Is because you have a partner, and that is the Refugee Services Office. There's a team, so between myself and also one of them, our new employee that just hired, Guyana, we work and we partner up with employers to address any barriers in the work environment, anything that had to do with cultural. We can help you address those barriers. And I can give you an example. I had a company reach out to me that they had to fire, and unfortunately they fire after the fact, but they wanted to know why this happened. So they hired a refugee, and so each morning they would give her certain tasks to do. And so this refugee actually completed the task, and she's supposed to work 8 hours. Well, she only worked 5 hours because she completed the task, and then she went home. And then the next day, it was the same thing. The supervisor gave her, this is the work that you need to get done today. Well, she completed the work, and then she went home. So they loved what she did. They loved that she got the work done, but she left early. And so come to find out, culturally, from her culture, is that when somebody gives you work to do, you get that done. If you get it done within 5 or 6 hours, you go home. You don't hang around because your work has been completed. So we end up being kind of that, what I would call cultural translation. So helping companies to address some of the barriers and some of the cultural issues that may be different in the work environment, but also what we do with our refugees, we help them with soft skills. So, once that the person is hired, we help you, we follow up with you, and we are also a resource. So you can reach out to us and say, hey, we've hired this person, but it seems like it's not working. And majority of the cases that I find, it's communication, is basic communication, not knowing where that the schedule keeps changing, or again, we just had to do with cultural aspects. So Ramadan, companies would hire people, and then Ramadan comes along. Well, they're in a production area and they started working, but then when it's time to pray, they just leave the production area while the pies are keep multiplying, and so that was a loss for them. However, it was basic communication. So we are a resource and we help you go through that. We address those barriers and even cultural differences. Again, we are the cultural translators, and we have a team that speaks different languages. We can also help also in translation. So we come with a team member and we help you address any of those barriers, if there are any of those barriers, once you hire them. But we want to make sure that you are successful and the applicant that you've hired, the refugee, is also successful. Within the Refugee Services Office, we do provide a lot of resources, and that includes short-term training programs that specifically geared towards certain occupations. We partner up with Salt Lake Community College to address those. And we have phlebotomy, we have warehouse, and we have several other basic tech. We also have ESL job readiness and financial literacy. Again, these are skills that we want to make sure that refugees have when they come and participate or when they join the workforce. We want to make sure that their English level is the level that you need, whether it's level 6, level 3. We have computer classes. We also have resume and a job application assistance that's available to our refugees, that we help them and make sure that meets your needs. We have also refugee experience workshop and trainings that we do to, again, help employers to understand where a refugee is coming from and who they are and how they can be successful in their company. We also do mini job fairs. Again, these are job fairs specifically for employers if there's a need out there. After our short-term trainings, whether it's warehouse phlebotomy or any of our occupational training, MCSA, we have tech and basic tech. We do a mini job fair specifically for those refugees. Again, we hope that as we help refugees gain those skills, that they are better in competing in the workplace as they look for apprenticeships. And there are always the skills that they bring about, again, whether it's soft skills from their country, the resilience and adaptability, but also we as a Refugee Services Office, we help them. And we help them with many things that includes soft skills, but also their resume and job application assistance. And also with the occupational English as well. How can we also, what our ask is for you as an employer, is that you can help hire and train and mentor refugees. We do a lot of virtual employer presentation throughout the week, and also sometimes in the evening if that meets your schedule. We invite our team, our job developers, but also our refugees to learn about who you are as an employer. We also do site tours. We know that it's not enough for these refugees sometimes to just listen to the conversation or hear the presentation, but also site tours are critical so they can actually feel and touch and know. Majority of these jobs sometimes, it's very new for them. They've never had or never seen some of those jobs back in their own country. So doing site tours it's very critical to them to deciding whether or not this is an area that they're interested in. We also do employer panel. We ask that we want to know what your needs are and how we can address those needs and help you in that area. We do quarterly job fairs and career fairs and resource fairs prior to COVID for sure. But right now we're doing more mini job fairs that directed more to industries and the needs of employers. One of the things that we do ask that would really help us is if you can mentor our refugees, if you're willing to mentor or even volunteer to help our refugees, that's always needed. Whether it's in the workplace to mentor them, but also volunteer to help them. We also have occupational and skills training feedback and input, where we reach out to you as an employer, as a business partner, to create partnerships where we want to listen to what is it that you need and create pathways and partnerships. If there's a need out there, for example, if it's in healthcare, phlebotomy, we will meet with you. We will see how we can create pathways where refugees can reach to that. It could be, say, for example, if we have a refugee that's interested in becoming a registered nurse. Again, most of our trainings include ESL, occupational training. So we want to see how we can create that pathway, but also learn from you what are some of the skills that you need as an employer for this specific job. So then we can best help our refugee make sure that they have that skill or minimum skill to be able to partner up with you or be able to partner to be part of the apprenticeship. So we want to make sure that the refugees that you get, that they are ready for employment, both in soft skills, but also hard skills if there's certain, especially with language, that is some of the resources that we have. So we continually help refugees, and it doesn't matter if they were here 30 years ago or just arrived yesterday. We're here as a resource to continually help. And even if you hire them and they are still with you, If you have any questions, please reach out to me in Guyana, and we can continually help you to make sure that it's a successful partnership. So, any questions? That's all I have. And then you have my my contact information right there.
Agnes, thank you so much. I learn so much every time I hear you talk, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know about that. So I made my own notes. Well, thank you. Well, I think we will wrap up with some information from Lisa Duckworth. She works with our not our refugee team. She works with our veterans team, and she is a fabulous resource for you as employers in your recruitment effort. So I'm just going to turn the time over to her.
Right. So Agnes and Josh are definitely hard acts to follow. And as I was listening to them, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm learning so much. And I also was like, gosh, I see so many opportunities for us to partner up. And so I really appreciate that and the opportunity to learn from my peers, because bottom line, we're all trying to do great things and help people get gainfully employed. So as Alexia mentioned, I am Lisa Duckworth. I am the local veteran employment representative for veteran and military employment services for the state of Utah. My role is actually part of a Department of Labor Veteran Employment and Training Services grant. So it's a federal program that is locally delivered at basically almost every state around. And so states can elect to be part of this program. And so it's a really great program. And because of that, we not only have our federal resources we can draw upon, but we also have our local resources that we grow and develop here in the state of Utah. So I'm basically the only person that works full-time in this role. But, basically my job consists of two major things. And so that is to assist employers and other interested organizations with their veteran, military member, and spouse employment training and development initiatives. That obviously would include apprenticeships. And then the other part of my job is to facilitate connections between our work-ready veterans and employers. And that could be someone who's maybe work-ready, ready for an apprenticeship. I also oversee our Utah Patriot Partnership Program. It's a state of Utah program that recognizes and assists employers with their veteran, military member, and spouse employment initiatives. And like some of the great things that I heard Josh and Agnes talk about, and even our apprenticeship group, you guys are doing so many great things. And so we are hoping to grow and develop that program, and it'll likely model many great things that you guys are already doing. And so perhaps there's some opportunity for us to partner on those things. I'm also part of the team that leads our virtual job fair. So I'm excited to see many of you tomorrow at our apprenticeship and virtual job fair. It's a little near and dear to my heart because I've been so involved. And if that isn't enough, I'm also a board member of the Utah Society of Human Resources as the foundation director. And through that program, there are a lot of great things that the Society of Human Resources is undertaking. They have a Veterans at Work program. They have employing different abilities at work. They have an untapped labor pool initiative. And so a lot of those are very robust programs. They also have launched an HR apprenticeship program. So I'm trying to get the word out as well, because a lot of veterans that are interested in transitioning out are very interested in human resources as a career field. So I guess in a nutshell, I'm very committed, right? So when you think of veterans, so I'm also a U.S. Army veteran. So working with veterans and veterans helping veterans is also something very near and dear to my heart. So I want you to take a moment. When you think of a veteran, what comes to mind? I can assure you that for the longest time, I just thought veterans, well, were my World War II grandpa. And I can guarantee that a lot of people probably have that same perception. And so whenever I say I'm a veteran, people are like, what? Wait, female, you're not that old. But you know, when you think about veterans, I challenge you to expand your perception, challenge it. Veterans can be men, they can be women, they may have served in combat or not. Their mothers, fathers, grandparents, great-grandparents, fit, disabled, gainfully employed, more often underemployed, and many have had positions of great responsibility at a very young age. So they're very diverse. So when you think about those diversity, equity, and inclusion type initiatives, veterans can be a very easy answer to help you tap into that. Why are veterans a good fit for apprenticeships? Well, first of all, I love apprenticeships. What better way to demonstrate your commitment to development? And it's also a great way to grow your own and train to retain. The military is one of, if not the biggest, apprenticeship program in existence. Everyone who enters into some kind of military service has gone through at least basic training. Everyone has to pass that. And then after basic, military members must complete some type of individualized training to prepare them to do their day-to-day job. And that can vary. If they're active duty, they're going to basically go work a 9-to-5 job. And so they are completing an apprenticeship to gain that skill to be able to just go to work. Now, reservists, they still go through the same training, but they may not do it every day. And some may. It's really trying to put any veteran into one box is very difficult. So they basically do apprenticeships. Career military members actually may complete several type of individualized trainings over the course of their career. So someone may enter in as a certain, like I was talking to a veteran the other day. When they entered into service, they received training like maybe on only doing mechanic work on a wheeled vehicle. If they wanted to advance to a higher rank level, then they had to get an additional training, another apprenticeship, to learn how to work on track vehicles. And so they could, as they advance in the ranks or responsibility, or maybe they said, hey, I joined and I want to switch it up. And I know a veteran that actually entered into infantry and then went to respiratory therapist school and did an apprenticeship to gain the skills to do that type of work. So they have at least one time in their career been able to complete an apprenticeship. And let's admit it, I'm not going to try to sell you. I mean, I know veterans, they have many qualities that organizations really just want in general for all their employees. Recently, I was reading actually a LinkedIn post from Intermountain Healthcare's Mark Harrison. He's very supportive of veterans and his workforce. And he just said, veterans provide their wisdom to our teams regularly. To them, service is a core value with no expiration date. SHRM, Society for Human Resource Management, around Veterans Day, released some like the top 5 veteran skills. And what they said was that number 1 was leadership and teamwork. 2, they said problem solving and decision making. 3rd, honesty and attention to detail, and global perspectives was the last one. I'd like to say, in general, similar to what Agnes said about refugees, is that veterans have had that worldly experience. And so they have learned to be flexible, adaptable, and absolutely resilient. And when you're looking, and I mentioned this before, is that as you're looking at your diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, veterans can be another solution to increasing those efforts. So I want to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to talk about Veteran Employment Services and Team. So I did take a moment earlier to introduce myself and my role. But like anything, we are better together. We have many team members and key partners that do great work on behalf of veterans, military members, and spouses. We have some great partners, not only our group here, but we also partner with Veterans Affairs, not-for-profits such as American Legion, Chamber of Commerce, and I mean, if you Googled veteran organizations, you would be probably overwhelmed because there are so many. Basically, there are a lot of people working hard to make a positive impact to veteran employment. So we have, I want to show you a little bit about our webpage. I think that's a really great resource. So I'm going to share my screen, but you'll see we have attempted to put meaningful resources on our web pages. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you a quick preview of our employer pages. And some of those things, you know, like Alexia did an amazing job to show you how to post your jobs. And that is always the first place that I refer people to. But let me just get this. Whoops. It's always fun to try to drive while you're presenting too, huh? But okay. Okay, so this is the main page. So if you just typed in jobs.utah.gov, you would see this page. If you scroll down, you will see services for veterans here. And so you would want to click that to get to our main Veteran and Military Employment Services page. As you can see here, we have pages to assist our job-seeking veterans or apprenticeship-seeking veterans, current military. And when we talk about current military, we do have a large population in Utah of National Guard and reservists. And so a lot of these, what we call, sometimes they're nicknamed citizen soldiers, they are also a great resource to connect to your apprenticeships. Of course, veterans. And then let's not forget our spouses. The spouses, they, especially with our active duty military, have had to basically live wherever their service member was stationed. It could be stateside, it could be overseas. Their experiences vary all over. Even our reservist and our National Guard members' spouses may often experience having to, experience life with their service member being stationed abroad or deployed. And so they have had to learn, basically be very independent and try to run a household without their significant other being around. And so they have definitely learned, I think they absolutely get that flexibility, adaptability, and resilience quality just by the sheer experiences that they have. And then we have our employers page. This one is a great resource. You can see here, right here is basically this link to, we have the Utah Patriot Partnership. We also have a federal award program to recognize employers' commitment to veteran employment. We had 3 winners in Utah this year, which is a significant change over past years because we typically have only had 1 employer per year. So I'm really happy to see that. If you ever wanted to get in touch with myself or members of my team that work with employers, you would just click here on the Learn More, and that will take you to a page similar to the one that Alexia showed with our workforce development specialists. And so that would be a way to tap into our staff that work directly with employers. One thing I do, a couple of things I just want to point out is that we have our post a job. We showed that earlier. There is a translator to assist you as you're writing your apprenticeship postings. If you wanted to point out certain types of military occupations that you feel could be a good fit for your apprenticeship program, there is a translator to help you with that. A link to our events, and then also there is a SkillBridge program. This is a very cool program where employers can do kind of a pre-apprenticeship program with transitioning service members during their last 180 days of service. The very cool thing, it really is, it's no cost to the employer. I was just talking to L3 Harris the other day, and they actually have an offering, and I thought it was really cool because it can be a challenge to get those approved because it is a Department of Defense program. And then of course we have a link to our apprenticeship page. So we absolutely hold apprenticeships near and dear to our heart. And so I just wanted to show those things to you. So as you are looking at ways to attract veterans to your apprenticeship programs, that you're aware of this resource, our team, and the things that we can do to help you with that. And so with that said, I really appreciate the time that I had here today to talk about what we can do for you. And we are all doing great things. And I put my LinkedIn profile in there too, if you're interested in connecting that way as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I really enjoy our partnership. We do work very, very well together, and I learn a ton about all the things you're connected to. So thank you so much. We're getting close to time, it looks like. So I throw out, if there's any questions that haven't been answered, feel free to just unmute yourself. We're a small enough group that won't be too distracting. Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, I appreciate all of you attending today. I hope you learned a lot, because I did, and have some things to take away that might help you in your recruitment efforts. In addition, you're always welcome to connect with me, and I can share ideas and connect you back to other individuals I work with as well.